I'll start at the beginning. From the time I became aware that there were boys and girls and that there were differences in boys and girls, I felt different from the other boys. Not quite like the girls. I felt like I was sort of somewhere in the middle.
When Freddie told the whole story about these 12 men dressing in blue pants and white shirts and walking through the neighborhood in line on their way to social functions, it's one thing to hear that story or read the transcript of that story. To actually do that walk in a neighborhood really punches out like what a complete spectacle it is. And that's not something that you can know by reading a transcript or looking into an archive. And so the idea of doing public artwork that is archival research is to know your subjects in different, more meaningful ways.
It started with a set of oral history interviews that were basically focused on 1940, 1970. Those years also corresponded with the biggest gap in the collection. The collection is strongest 1970 moving forward. So the oral history presented an opportunity to capture stories from a group who is passing quickly in numbers, and the exhibit was based on the oral histories and the materials that we collected, along with materials we already had at the Atlanta History Center. So that's kind of the base of all of the events that we're having today.
Pack in there tight, don't lean against the beer boxes, don't knock on my beer.
So I'm thinking about the archives that Wesley's talking about, and the idea was, those of us or researchers who are interested in such archival material, it's a great resource, but what kind of work do the archives actually do once they're collected? And so that was that is another impetus for what we're doing right now, which is how do you get the archives to do some public work? Right. One of the words and phrases that's thrown around a lot now is public scholarship, and so this is one of the things that we're interested in, so that like we're thinking in critical terms and social terms and political terms, and that's the kind of work that we're making the archives do, so that they're not literally just files in boxes.
And I didn't know the gay world existed, much less the Lorelei lady, you know. Gay people, of course, live there.
This is an event that taps into experiences from women who played softball, a group of African American men, a group of drag performers, and then attendees at a film. Some of these have, their racialized experiences, their gendered experiences, but we were trying to bring something out in a way and locate it so that creating new memories that aren't necessarily based on the racial and gendered configurations they were originally experienced. Something that we could bring many people into.
I'll say something also about the fact that it's public art. In the art world and the academic world, another phrase that's thrown around is visual methodologies. And what does it mean to produce a form of art in the context of research?
Took place for a few minutes and then was over. And then it lives in people's memories, and they merge that memory with themselves and they create new memories.